Good morning, Hojo staff, students, and families. Yaate abena. We're ready to start our day. So everybody please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Our voices are off and bodies are still. Eyes are on the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, the first day of February. 2021. Let me set this up here so we can take a video of today's announcements. Okay, friends, we have a new week, so we have a new selection from Mrs. Neff in music. I had mentioned briefly last week that it was this composer's birthday and we listened to a little bit of music from him, but let's see if you can remember who the composer was. Maybe you've heard this piece, but probably not played exactly like we're going to hear it today. Okay, do you remember the composer who had a birthday last week? It was Mozart, that's right. On January 27th, he had a birthday. It would have been his 265th birthday. So he's been around for quite a while. He's been famous for all that time. So this piece is called Alla Turca. It is from his Piano Sonata number 11 in A major. And this one, when you're listening to it, maybe you could hear the whistling. There's a person playing piano and whistling the tune at the same time, which I imagine is pretty tricky. And the reason that Mrs. Neff had chosen that piece in that way, because she wanted you to hear the modulations, the changes of key. And she said our middle school students have studied that, and she wanted to know if you could tell how many key changes there were, how many modulations in that selection. She was also involved in a whistling competition, the whistling classical music, and I imagine it's a very tricky thing to do. So if you get a chance to watch the video, Alla Turca from Mozart's Piano Sonata number 11 in A major. That's a hard title to remember, but we're going to do our best. Okay, for our poem, we didn't get to do a poem last week, so we're going to do a poem this week. The Snowstorm by Ralph Waldo Emerson. We've heard some of his poetry before. So we're not getting a snowstorm today, but where I used to live in New England, they're getting a big storm. Okay, so The Snowstorm by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Announced by all the trumpets of the sky, arrives the snow, and driving over the fields seems nowhere to alight. The whited air hides hills and woods, the river and the heaven, and veils the farmhouse at the garden's end. The sled and travelers stopped, the courier's feet delayed. All friends shut out. The housemates sit around the radiant fireplace, enclosed in a tumultuous privacy of storm. Come see the north wind's masonry, out of an unseen quarry evermore. Furnished with tile and fiercer artificer, curves his white bastions with projected roof round every windward stake or tree or door. Speeding the myriad-handed his wild work, so fanciful, so savage, naught cares he for numbers or proportion. Mockingly on coop or kennel he hangs Parian wreaths, a swan-like form invests the hidden thorn. Fills up the farmer's lane from wall to wall, Marga the farmer's sighs, and at the gate a tapering turret overtops the work. And when his hours are numbered and the world is all his own, retiring, as he were not, leaves, when the sun appears, astonished art, to mimic in slow structures, stone by stone, built in an age, the mad wind's night work, the frolic architecture of snow. So have you ever noticed that in a snowstorm? It almost rebuilds everything that's there by covering it all up. You can notice the forms. You might notice something that you left out in the yard. Maybe you left a basketball or a toy out in the yard, and after it snows, you can tell it's there, right? It builds another form around it. And so Waldo Emerson is talking to us about the storm as a builder, making things out in the yard, all in one night. Okay, so we're going to talk some more about some of the vocabulary in that piece as we go on through the week. So our artist, we will have a new artist, but we had one piece because we had a snowstorm. We missed a couple of days, and so we're behind a little bit in our artist. So John Singer Sargent was our artist last week, right? And we met these guys, remember? Edward and Marie-Louise Payon. And we met these friends, the daughters of Edward Darley Boit, remember? And we saw this piece, El Helio. Remember this one? It was the one that's the huge one, 7 by 12 feet. And we had this one, Carnation Lily Lily Rose, of John Singer Sargent's friends' daughters, painted outside over 2 years. And now we have the last piece. This one is called Lady Agnew of Lochnaw, and it's usually referred to as just Lady Agnew. It's one of his most famous pieces. And usually when they had portraits, they would have people sitting straight. Remember if you've ever looked, or maybe you've watched Harry Potter, where they have all the portraits on the walls and everyone's sort of sitting up straight. But she's sort of slouching in her chair, which is unusual for a portrait at that time. And you can see it's very like soft brush strokes. You can barely tell that those are flowers on the chair. One unique thing about this painting is that if you see she's wearing a necklace, there's a pendant. She's wearing a necklace, and if you can't really see it in this picture, but in the real one, he had the pendant painted lower, and he decided in the painting when he was painting it that he was going to move it. So you can see a faint outline of the pendant lower on the sash, on her purple sash. And it sort of shows us that he was thinking about it and changing his ideas as he was painting it. And it's very soft, except that her face is very detailed, which is the typical thing for John Singer Sargent, to have soft brush strokes in the back, but some things very detailed. And so her face is very detailed, and she's looking right back at you. And you can almost see a little bit of her personality. All right, that's the last day for John Singer Sargent, but he'll be back again when we want to remember and go over those so we don't forget. We also talked about adding the 6th Amendment, because we're doing the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution, which are called the Bill of Rights. That's right. So we've done the first 5, or gone over the first 5. Tell me what the 2nd Amendment is. Do you remember? A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Right? So the 6th Amendment, and you remember how the 4th and the 5th Amendment talk about our rights for trial, that we can't be put in jail or be brought up on charges. And it specifies how those things should happen, because it's not right for the government to have too much power over people. So this is the 6th Amendment. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witness against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. So you hear about this a lot of times if you're watching the news, or if you're watching a television show that talks about crime or law and order. It's that you have a right to a speedy and public trial, that you have a right to a jury, that you have the right to know what the charges are against you, and that you have the right to confront the witnesses. They can't just hide and pretend to be somebody who and have it all made up. You have the right, if you're convicted of a crime and there's a witness who says they are accusing you of something, you have the right to confront that witness and to have the assistance of counsel for your defense. You have the right to a lawyer. So those are all included in the Sixth Amendment. And so if you hear about somebody talking about their Sixth Amendment rights, that's what they're referring to. So we'll go back over those first 5, add the 6. We have 7, 8, 9, and 10 to go. Hopefully before the end of the year, we'll have all 10 amendments that we've practiced. Okay, birthdays. We do have one birthday today. Savannah's having her birthday. I hope you have a great day, Savannah. Other announcements. I will be away next week, so there won't be announcements next week. I'll be in Michigan doing training at Hillsdale College. So other announcements, 7th grade. I haven't had many people call me or email me about wanting to come back in 7th grade. So hopefully you're watching the announcements, and I'll send out another email reminder. And kindergarten registration starts today. If you have a brother or sister who wants to go to kindergarten here next year, then we need to get those papers in. Even though siblings get first priority, if we don't know about it, those slots get filled. So we have to have everybody submit their letter of intent, which is on our website right now, or you can come to the school and pick it up. So if you know somebody who wants to register for next year, kindergarten only, this is the enrollment time. So go ahead and let them know what to do. That's all we have for today, so let's do our student pledge. I will do the good, I will learn the true, and I will love the beautiful. And I hope you have a great day today.